fellow dropshippers? Today's Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A all about eBay and Amazon dropshipping. As always, I'm your host, Paul J. Lipsky. Hey, if you're here live in the live chat, let me know where in the world you are chiming in from. Currently, I'm inside my camper van on the shores of a lake just outside of Death Valley, California. So that's where I'm at right now. Let me know where you are chiming in from. So the way this works is if you have any questions, you can ask them in the live chat. Otherwise, if you're watching this on replay, ask your questions in the comments section of any of my videos, and I'll throw them up on the screen just like this and answer them for you. First, I wanted to give a shout out to several of my students who are absolutely crushing it right now with eBay dropshipping. So big shout out to Nick, who's doing over $100,000 a month in sales. As you can see in the past 90 days, he's done over $300,000 in sales. So big congrats to Nick, and also thank you for being really active inside the private Facebook group that's just for members of the eBay Dropshipping Titans course. Because inside that group, lots of people are there asking for help, and you're always posting and helping people. So thanks so much, Nick. Really appreciate it. Also, Chris, who's new, just started and has already done $4,000 in sales. So big shout out to one of my new students, Chris. Congrats, man. Big shout out to Mohammed, again, hitting $178,000 in sales. So congrats, man. That's awesome. And Omar wanted to give me this update saying with only 160 listings, and he's being pretty lazy, he says, he still managed to do $33,000 in sales in this time period, as you see. So he calls himself a lazy drop shipper, which I think is pretty funny. And you can still see he's doing really quite well with the program, with the course. So congrats, Omar. And Mohammed, again, just giving a little bit of an update here. So thanks everyone for sending me those updates. Again, a lot of those are posted inside the private Facebook group that's just for members of the course. So if you want to check out that course, the link to it, of course, will be in the description of this video for you guys to check out. All right, let's see who's here and who has questions. We have Hussam here first again, so thanks so much for being here. Brian from Las Vegas. Brian, I just went through Las Vegas last week. Fortunately, we didn't stay too long because nothing was open at the time. Hopefully soon things will open back up and we'll be headed back over there. Courtney from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Thanks for being here, Courtney. Kiefer from Utah, just passed through Utah as well. Utah was an amazing state, so beautiful. We went through to a lot of the national parks, Kiefer, like Zion, definitely one of my favorites. So if those of you who don't know, we live full time in a camper van, traveling around the country, exploring the country while doing drop shipping from the van. So again, right now I'm on the beach, and we have hotspots in the van, AT&T and Verizon, so able to work all day, which is pretty nice. And it's been pretty amazing. Besides things just kind of being shut down. What is up, Dropship? Tyler from North Carolina. North Carolina is one of those states I just kind of drove right through. No, I'm kidding, man. Great state. Actually, great scuba diving there. Mohammed from Morocco. What's up? News Deals from Texas. Elijah from Connecticut. What's up, everyone? Country Wolf from Orlando. What's up, man? Thanks for being back and thanks for coming here. I love Orlando. Epic, says Dropship Tyler. 160 listings, 33,000 sales. Hey, what's up, Rich? How you doing, man? How old am I? I am, let's see, 31. I'm about to be 32. My birthday's coming up. I have to think about that sometimes. Yeah, so my birthday's coming up, guys. All right, let's get to some of these questions. We have Michael here. Michael says, how do you contact your customer, or do you contact your customer after they place an order to let them know you're processing the order? Or does eBay do that? I like this question because this is a question I haven't gotten asked this in a long time, so I think it'd be a good question to discuss. So when somebody orders an item from eBay, what's going to happen is eBay is going to send them an order confirmation letting them know the order has been placed. It's being worked on. Now, what's going to happen next? The next email they are going to get is when you upload the tracking number. Once you upload the tracking number, then another email is sent to the buyer as well. So in the meantime, the question is, do you have to send a message in the meantime? Technically, you don't have to. Okay. The understanding or assumption is that they order the item, they're not going to hear again until the item ships out. Myself as a buyer, someone who shops on eBay, someone who shops on Amazon, that's what I expect. I don't expect a communication between the order confirmation and when the tracking number ships out. Now, there are people who do send out emails in the meantime. That's something you could do. But again, personally, because as a buyer myself, as a consumer myself, that's not what I expect. I only expect two emails, one when I order it and one when it ships out. So on the flip side, as a seller, that's all I'm going to send out to my buyers. So the choice is really yours, but I think it's better just to leave it the way it is because it just kind of makes more sense that way. And I think that answered your full question. Yeah. All right. Next question is from Darth Vader. Hey, Paul, great show again. Thanks, Vader. I have a question. I got an order. My supplier is Walmart, but the item is a store purchase only, no shipping. What can I do? So, on a lot of the suppliers' websites, a lot of the retail websites, you'll see that items will be either out of stock or they'll be available for shipping or they'll be available for in store pickup only. Now, for us drop shippers, if it's in store pickup only, it is considered out of stock. Okay. So those items should be considered out of stock. Now, the software that we use, like AutoDS, which helps us to manage our eBay stores, so they will make sure that if an item is out of stock on our supplier's website, that it goes out of stock on our eBay website. So that software is programmed so that if an item says that it's store pickup only, that software will count it as out of stock. So make sure you're using good, reliable software that will do that for you so that you don't run into that issue. But if it does say it's store pickup only, it's out of stock. You have to look for the item on another supplier's website or wait for the item to come back into stock or contact the buyer to let them know that there's an issue. And I want to kind of back up a little bit because I mentioned before that as a consumer, the only times I expect an email are when the item is ordered and when it ships out. The exception to that is if there is a problem with the order, then you obviously would reach out to the buyer to let them know that there's an issue. But in most cases, you wouldn't reach out to them before the tracking number is uploaded. Now, another thing you can do is after the item is successfully delivered, you could then reach out to the buyer again and say to them, hey, we saw the item was delivered. We just want to touch base, make sure everything's okay. And if it is, would you mind leaving us some positive feedback? And then give them instructions on how to do that. And that will help get you more feedback. That's something else you can do as well. Would you say that Walmart to eBay is still profitable? Yes, it is. Currently, we're having some issues with Walmart, just delayed shipping, but otherwise, it's still profitable, still great. Can you drop ship through eBay's global shipping program? Yeah, so the global shipping program is great. It's a great way for us to sell our items internationally without having to set that up ourselves. So basically, the way it works is you list an item on eBay as normal, and then you tell eBay that yes, you want to opt into the global shipping program. What happens next? Well, then a customer in another country will order the item from you, but you're not going to get their street address. You're not going to get their address in, let's say, the UK. Instead, you're going to get an address for eBay's facility in Erlanger, Kentucky. It's going to be 1850 Airport Exchange Boulevard in Erlanger, Kentucky. It's always the same address, except there is a reference number. That reference number tells eBay when the item gets delivered to Kentucky, it tells eBay this package is for this customer. And then they forward that package to the customer overseas. So then eBay takes care of all the import export charges, all the international shipping, and even the returns as well in certain circumstances. So it's a really great program, really easy to get set up with and really easy to use. So I'm a huge fan and advocate of it. Yeah, great program. Um, Hussam says, hey, I've been drop shipping from the best seller page of retail websites. Is this the best way to do it? Hussam, in my experience, it is not. So what Hussam's talking about is when you go to any retail website, and I'll use Home Depot as an example. Let's use Amazon because it's so easy. Amazon on their page, has a bestseller section. Well, they'll actually show you the best sellers on Amazon. Now, a lot of drop shippers think that if it's selling really well on Amazon, it's going to sell really well on eBay. But that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's true, but not necessarily. So you can list up a bunch of the best sellers from Amazon on eBay, but it's no guarantee that it's not for sure that they're going to sell. So the method that I use, we have a in Dropshipping Titans, we have a three-part product research formula. Actually give an overview of it in my free webinar, which I'll have linked up underneath this video. It's like probably the second link under this video. So if you want to check that out, I do give an overview of that product research formula. Actually, we go pretty in depth in that video. So make sure to check that out because that I think is the best way to do it. The best sellers, just because it's so random and not necessarily going to sell well on eBay, I don't think it's the best way to do it. And I think the reason for that is because there are certain consumers that go to Amazon and certain consumers that go to eBay and certain consumers that go to like Etsy and all these different websites. So based on that, I think that's why some items do well on Amazon and not as well on eBay and vice versa. How do I feel about drop shipping furniture on eBay? Furniture can be tricky. So with some suppliers, they make it pretty easy. Like we have a lot of luck drop shipping items from Walmart that are furniture. But the problem you can run into is when you get into freight delivery. Now, with freight delivery, the issue is that you don't always get a tracking number, and sometimes it's curbside delivery. So it's extra work for you to set up and arrange the delivery with the buyer. So just be aware of that. That might be a little bit of a hurdle you run into, but they are higher priced. So I think it can definitely be worth it. You can make a lot more money with that. The other issue can be with returns for those. You can sometimes run into issues because they then have to take apart the furniture and box it up to ship it back. But if you use a reputable supplier and you've ordered that product before and know it's you haven't had issues with it, then you shouldn't really have issues. It's great furniture, but you just gotta be a little bit careful. So I'd say unless it is just normal shipping like you get with Walmart, just be a little bit more careful. Maybe it's more for advanced sellers. Okay. From Latvia, what's up? How old he forgets his age. Yeah, I don't know why. The past couple of years, ever since I hit 30, I just kind of kept forgetting exactly how old I am. But I'm turning 32 like next week. Anas from Morocco, what is up? Thanks for coming here. Yes. So News Deal says, I have a question. Is it possible to link two eBay accounts with one AutoDS account? Absolutely. So AutoDS is really designed to help you manage your entire eBay business. And with that, there's the understanding that you might have multiple eBay accounts. I'm not sure exactly how many can be linked up with AutoDS, but I've done a bunch and I've never had an issue with it. So you can definitely link up two of them to one AutoDS account. And the benefit of that is that, and just because they're linked to one account doesn't mean that eBay knows they are linked together. So just be aware of that. Now, the one of the benefits of that is that um, you'll know if you're trying to list the same item into more than one store. So eBay, they allow you to have multiple stores, but if those stores are connected, eBay doesn't want you listing the same item into two of your different stores. So one way to avoid that is with AutoDS because it will actually alert you and let you know that. Now, with that said, just because you can do it doesn't mean that that's the right method for you. So me personally, because I use the non-API version of AutoDS, I have different AutoDS accounts for each of my stores. They're each on their different browser so that the Chrome extension works correctly. All right. So let's move on to the next questions. But if you guys are getting some value out of this video yet, I would appreciate it if you gave that video underneath here a thumbs up, give the video a like. That lets me know that you guys are enjoying the content so far. Um, all right, so Kiefer has a good question. Would you recommend doing more smaller sales or fewer bigger sales when starting out? So when, as a new seller, I always recommend you start with cheaper items because those cheaper items are going to move faster. So one of the problems as a new seller is you're going to have a lower selling limit or lower monthly limit. And with that lower limit, it limits the number of items that you can list and sell. Or the bigger problem is that it limits the number of items that you can list. So your goal in the first few months is to sell as much as possible so that eBay can raise your limits higher. And the best way to sell more items is to sell cheaper items because people will buy them on impulse. They're more likely to buy them without, thinking about it, without shopping around. Even if you have to break even on those, just to get the sales going so that you can then get the higher limits and start, making some serious buck with it. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so Alvaro says, I've noticed that some sellers on Amazon do not ship to Puerto Rico. I've had to cancel orders due to them not shipping to PR. What can I do? So Alvaro, um, you're going to find this with a lot of suppliers that they do not ship to Puerto Rico, not just Amazon, but like Home Depot, for instance. So you want to make sure that in your business policies on eBay, you exclude Puerto Rico. So this is something I do cover in my course, eBay Dropshipping Titans. So if you set it up according to that, you're going to be fine because you're going to exclude PR for that reason. And there's a bunch of other places that they won't ship to either. So you're going to want to make sure that all those different territories are excluded as well. Do I prefer API or non-API for retail dropshipping? Non-API. I've been working my 9 to 5 job and saving money to focus on dropshipping. Is 5,000 a good cushion? Albert, I think with 5,000 you can start with that for sure. Something like eBay dropshipping is very, very low cost to get started, so you're not going to need that 5K to start. Now, what you will need is some cash flow because you have to order the products and then PayPal won't release the money to you until you upload a tracking number for that order. So in the meantime, you should be using a credit card to fulfill those orders. So as long as you have about 5,000 on a credit card that you're going to use just for the business, that should be fine uh, for now, for the beginning. You'll obviously have to raise that up later, but for a new seller, that will be fine in the beginning. But for the actual cost of drop shipping, besides that, you're not going to need anywhere near that 5,000. If you're drop shipping from Amazon to eBay, can you use Prime? Yeah, you can absolutely use Prime. Um, that's not going to be an issue for drop shipping from Amazon. Happy birthday in advance. Thanks so much. Playing around with stealth accounts. I made a new one, then it was blocked. Without really knowing the exact details, it's hard to tell. But if you're using a fake name and fake address, I think there are ways that eBay can tell that it's all fake, or it's a name that's not, or it's an address that's not associated with that name. So I think that is a reason why eBay might be blocking stealth accounts, like if you set it up the way that you have. Um, can you share your email? I want to send you a private request. So best thing to do is send me a DM on Instagram. That's the fastest way to reach me, honestly, because I spend way too much time on there. So just DM me on Instagram, and that's the best way to get in touch with me privately. Hey, Paul, I'm from Morocco. I like what you do. Thanks. I'm just wondering if I could drop ship from China and USA to eBay in the same time. Yeah, you can. You can drop ship to the United States from China and from the United States at the same time. I think that's what you're asking. Um, What is the difference between API and non-API? It's a little bit confusing. I'm not a software developer, so the technical jargon is hard for me to kind of explain. But sorry, I hear a fighter jet going overhead. But basically, the way it works is with API, what this is a lot of websites like eBay will allow third-party developers to come in and build like apps that work with the website, that interact with the website. So eBay has a developers program. They let developers do this. And the way the developers connect with eBay is through the API. It's like a direct call to eBay, and then eBay sends calls back or something like that. So it's like a direct integration. Now that's great. So the software, a lot of them connect directly up with eBay through that API. The problem is that eBay has said in the past that yes, we have this API program, but we don't want software that will reprice items on eBay based on the price on retailer's website, another retailer's website. So we don't want that software connected to our API. Is what they've said. So the theory is that if we use another way to reprice our items, not a non-API version, that we're not going to get penalized from eBay for. And we found through our experiments that if we use the non-API software, we don't get penalized by eBay like we would with the API. So we prefer the non-API. Hope that makes sense. It's a little bit confusing, but that's the best way that I can explain it as like a layman who doesn't know much about software. Um, what to do if PayPal limits your account and you can't call them. So you can email them. I'm not sure why PayPal limited you, what you mean by that. I know eBay will start holding your money if you've seen a spike in sales. So that's happened to a few people recently that I know because sales have been booming right now with more and more people shopping online during quarantine. So they've seen a spike in sales, and PayPal starts to hold some of their funds again. If you have questions about that, you can email PayPal, and that's the best way that we've seen to reach them right now. Okay. Mm. Is it a good idea to do some drop shipping on an account and also regular sales on the same account? Or should you get two different accounts? So, Brian, it sounds like maybe you do like retail arbitrage or something like that. Brian, I really suggest you have two different sorry, I'm laughing at a comment that obviously has a typo in it. Um, I suggest, Brian, you have two different accounts, one specifically for drop shipping and one for whatever else you sell on eBay. That's going to help you stay really organized, especially once you start using the software, because that software will connect up with eBay and be able to help you fulfill your orders and get the items listed. Just to avoid confusion, I think it's definitely better to have two different accounts, one specifically for drop shipping and one for the other one. Nader says my birthday is also next week. eBay told me I reached my limit. What should I do? Same advice as before. Remember, sell cheaper items, get those items flowing, get them going. And then what you want to do is, after a month, call eBay and ask them to raise your limit. That's what we've all done. So we've all started out in the same position that you're in right now. I started out with a very low listing limit or monthly limit and took time, but I've gotten it up. And that's just, kind of like a rite of passage for eBay sellers. So AutoDS is non-API. AutoDS has an API version and a non-API version. I only use the non-API version. Um, okay, let's go to some of the questions from this week. Okay, Sebastian says a customer bought two items. I have PayPal jail and I can't buy these items because I don't have enough money. So again, this is kind of what I mentioned before, how when you first start selling, PayPal is going to hold your money. So as a new seller, I really recommend that you have a credit card to start. Once you purchase the item from the supplier, you get the tracking number, you upload it to eBay. Then once the item is delivered, PayPal will release that money to you. As soon as they release that money to you, you can then use it to kind of pay off your credit card. But in the meantime, that's what you have to do as a new seller. That's the reality of it. There's no way around that. There's no way out of PayPal jail. Um, so it's just something you have to be ready for. And I see a lot of people get upset by this. A lot of people worry about this. But what you got to realize is that eBay dropshipping is one of the cheapest and lowest risk businesses to start that you can start in terms of e-commerce. So it's very, very low cost, very simple to get started, much lower risk. So there are going to be some hurdles, and this is one of them. Compare this to other businesses where you have to invest tens of thousands of dollars up front to get started with it. This is like peanuts in comparison to that. Okay. Let's see. How can I sell $100,000 worth of items every month without PayPal? The only way to do that is to get eBay's managed payments. eBay is getting rid of PayPal and starting to use managed payments. So that's what you would have to do. Um, yes, but there is a way around that. Send me a DM on Instagram and I could tell you about that. This is not a dumb question. Does eBay allow you to sell from two accounts if you're using the same PayPal account? Yes, you are allowed to have multiple eBay accounts tied to one PayPal account. That's fine. Let's go through some more of these questions. Answer that one already. Nick says if eBay, so recently I made a video all about eBay account suspensions, how to avoid them, and in the rare chance that you get it, how to get your account back. So Nick says if eBay does suspend your account, will your PayPal account also be suspended? Rick, I've never heard that happening. They're separate companies. I've never heard of someone getting their eBay account suspended, and as a result of that, also having their PayPal account suspended. Um, and in fact, getting suspended from PayPal is much even more rare than getting suspended on eBay. It happens far less often. Again, you got to make sure your business policies are correct. So you're excluding all the places you're not supposed to ship to, and make sure that business policy is actually your default one and that has been applied to all your existing listings so that you don't accidentally have someone order from you who's in a region that you don't ship to. How do you deal with someone from another country who's ordering from you? I only ship internationally again through the global shipping program. So I don't ship any other way through except the GSP. And that's exactly why, because I don't want to have to deal with, well, if you ship to this country, it's going to cost you this much. If you ship to this country, it's going to cost this much. It's just no. I just use a global shipping program. eBay takes care of all of that, makes it so much easier for me. Okay. Oh, big shout out to CB who says, "Hey man, just sold my first product in under 24 hours and made $58 profit because of your videos. Thanks so much." Thanks so much, CB, for sharing that. Really appreciate it, man. And congrats on your $58. Just fix my autofocus. Uh, so I like your what subscription would be best for me? I have 68 items active, 315 sold, and 2,190 days total. So Lucky Skills, you, you can still be on the cheapest eBay plan. I wouldn't, I'm not a big fan of the starter plan. Here, let me pull them up so I can show you. eBay store subscription. I'm not a big fan of the cheapest one, which is the starter plan, because it doesn't come with a ton of benefits really. But as you see here, there's the starter plan, the basic, premium, anchor, and enterprise. And down here, and all I did to get here was Google eBay store subscriptions. As you see here, it tells you how many listings you get for free. Yeah, so with the starter, you get 100. With the basic, you get 250. Now, the reason I say I like the basic is because coming down here, it lowers your final value fee from 10% to 9.15%. So with either one of these, you're going to have free listings because you only have 68 listings. So you're going to be fine with either one, but I would go with the basic so you have the cheaper final value fee. It's only about $25 a month if you pay month to month, and that's going to save you some money right there. So that's what I would do. Okay, Nick says with managed payments, so with managed payments, eBay for new sellers, I think it's going to be the same as PayPal, where they're going to hold your money at first until the item is delivered. After that, what's going to happen is eBay, the money's going to go right into your eBay account. But then eBay, you have to transfer the money from eBay to your bank account. Now that's where the delay happens. And it's the same delay that happens on PayPal. So right now, the way it works is money goes into your PayPal account, and then you transfer that money from PayPal to your bank account. Now, when money hits your PayPal account, it's instantaneously right there, as long as you're not a new seller. Now, you can then use that by, if you have a PayPal debit card, for instance, or you can transfer it to your bank. Now, there's two ways to transfer it to your bank from PayPal. Originally, the original way was you transfer it and it takes 2 to 3 business days to actually reach your bank account. Now, for a fee, they have instant transfers where it will transfer to your bank account uh, the same day. So that does cost a fee to do that. Not very much. I think it's like $10. Right now, I don't exactly remember how much it is because right now it's free because of COVID. They're allowing you to do it for free. Um, but yeah, so that option is available on PayPal. On eBay with managed payments, it's going to be similar in the fact that when you transfer it from eBay to your bank account, it's still going to take 2 to 3 business days to reach there. I haven't heard that they're going to offer an instant transfer option, and I don't know if they're going to have something like an eBay debit card in the future. Maybe. I doubt it because they're not really like a PayPal service. It's more like the way Amazon has it sets up when you get money on Amazon. So there is going to be that delay there. Yeah. Is there jail in managed payments? I believe there is going to be one. Yes. At least that's what the rep that I spoke to at eBay Concierge told me. How can I set up eBay managed payments on my account? You'll get an email about it when it's available to you. They'll give it a few months in advance and say you have to register by a certain date. So my accounts are going in at the end of July, so I have to wait until then. Cool. So I answered this already, but what you should do since you're already in that situation where someone from Puerto Rico has ordered from you is you have to cancel that order. You have to let them know you don't ship to Puerto Rico. It was a mistake in the listing, and you're going to have to cancel it. All right, so we have plenty of time for more questions, but I noticed we have about 90 people watching live and only 21 likes. So if you guys are enjoying this content, I would appreciate if you gave the video a thumbs up. Really appreciate that. And if you do, maybe I'll do something special for my birthday for you guys. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. All right. Okay. And this is like the theme of today is having the wrong business policies in place. So this person says an item drop shipping from Amazon, the customer has a PO box. Is there a way around this? You can't ship to a PO box. Um, the only way around it is to ask the buyer if they have a physical street address and they could ship there instead. Now that's risky because in order to be protected by eBay and PayPal, you need to ship to the actual address on the order. So if the address on the order is a PO box and then they send you a message with the street address and you ship to that street address, you're not going to have seller protection. So you run the risk there. That's why it's probably safer just to cancel the order and tell them send them a message saying you're happy to ship it to them, but you need a physical street address. So guys, this really highlights why it's so important to understand what you're doing when you're going into something like eBay dropshipping. Yes, it's simple, but you run into problems like this. This is like the fifth or sixth person who said someone ordered from them from Puerto Rico or a PO box or Hawaii or Alaska, and they're not able to ship the items there because the suppliers don't ship to those locations. So, for those of you who are members of my course, inside my course, I show you how to set up your business policies so that this doesn't happen because you don't want to be in this situation. You don't want to be in a situation where you have to cancel orders for this reason and possibly get negative feedback for it. So make sure you set things up the correct way from the start so that stuff like this doesn't happen to you. I don't know. I've never sold hair products really, or specifically hair products. With eBay, one of the benefits of it is that you don't need to niche down. You don't need to sell just hair products. You can sell all types of products and then see what sells well. I always like to say my favorite niche, let me get rid of this. My favorite niche are the items that are selling well on eBay, right? It's not a specific set of items. I just go onto eBay, see what's selling well, and I sell those same products myself. So you don't have to niche down and just sell hair products. Mm. Whoa, David, congratulations. He says he hit $20,000 this month with your course, Paul. I started in January. Woot. Congratulations, David. Yay. Thanks, Paul. Hopefully there will be companies that will offer lines of credit for Amazon sellers. Yeah, I'm not sure. That would be pretty cool. I'm not sure if Payability does that. I know they work with Amazon and Walmart. I feel like I saw that Payability started working with eBay. Let me check. Payability. Ability. I'm just going to their website. Let's look together. Let's see. Payability. Daily capital for, let's see, where did I see it? Solutions. Huh. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Let's try searching for payability. Because the way payability works for Amazon is that because Amazon holds your funds for 2 weeks before they release their money to you, in the meantime, during those 2 weeks, you have a serious cash flow issue. So what you want to do is sign up for payability after your first 3 months, and payability will actually front you most of your money every single day, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, you can just kind of basically pay payability back. So that's the way it works. Um, Payability plus eBay. Yeah, so I think maybe it does work with eBay now. So that might be an option for a lot of you guys as well. I'll dig more into that. Um, yes, I've answered that question. Yes. So we have to go through again. I'm not sure what you mean by go through. Does it create a problem for the seller if you cancel the sale if the customer is paid? Um, yeah, you don't want to cancel orders if you can avoid it. It's not a good idea. If you do cancel, make sure you cancel it the correct way. But yeah. What's up, Bobby? Thanks for being here. Whoa, Bobby, congratulations. I hit a new milestone of $27,000 in the past 30 days, up 218%. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Bobby, for sharing that. Really appreciate it. And congratulations, man. That's awesome. I use two PayPal accounts in the same eBay. I've never heard of that. And I don't know anyone who's done that, so I can't say if it's risky or not. I'm not sure why are you doing that? Cool. A couple more questions from the week. There we go. Hi, Paul. Do you recommend starting a new eBay store from scratch or converting my individual account to a business account? So, William, that's up to you and what's going on with you. So, if you have an existing eBay store and you currently use that store for something else, like maybe you use it for like thrifting items, then I would keep that store and start a new one that you use specifically for drop shipping. Now, the benefit is when you start a new store, eBay's going to see, oh, what's your name? Oh, William already has an existing store. So we've seen his history. We know he's a good seller. So his new store, we're going to give him a higher limit on that store. We're not going to start him out with a lower limit. So you have an advantage right there. Now, William, if you don't actively use that account, maybe you've only used it to buy stuff in the past, then you can convert that into a selling account, into a business and selling account, and start selling on that one. That will be better because it's a little bit of older account. Maybe you hopefully have a higher limit on it. Maybe you have some feedback from buying items. So it's a benefit to use it if it currently exists and you're not using it for something else. Is it risky to sell branded items which aren't on the Vero program list? I think so. So if there's like a brand that for some reason isn't a Vero brand, I still avoid things like that if we can. So unfortunately, the Vero list provided by eBay isn't complete, believe it or not, which is kind of frustrating. So luckily, if you use something like AutoDS, when you go to list that item, it will actually tell you, hey, this is a Vero item and you shouldn't list it. And their Vero list not only includes everything from eBay's Vero list on their website, but also AutoDS is able to see when accounts get restricted for Vero violations. And then from that message, it pulls the brand name and adds it to their Vero list. So they have a really robust list of Vero brands that you should avoid. So I always trust them when I'm listing items. Uh, so Lorenzo, make sure to read the text underneath the video on lesson 2.4 because again, I tell you exactly what if you're issue with your business policies. So lesson 2.4 in my